In 1985, the Nintendo was released, and with it, a whole slew of launch titles. Now there are 17 in this collection, and today we're going to review every single one of them, so yeah, strap yourselves in, this may take a while. Today's episode is brought to you by Extra Wallets, the premium wallet made of leather and fine design for all your cash and credit card needs, especially with these cool features that pop out your credit cards. Fancy! So make sure you visit their website, extra.com, to get your premium wallet today. In October of 1985, Nintendo graced our country with the NES console. Since the system here had been a huge hit in Japan for a few years already, well, they set their sights on the American market, but there was only one problem. We were still reeling from the video game crash of 1983. And unfortunately, retail companies were still avoiding anything to do with video games like the plague. So with that in mind, Nintendo did the genius idea of packaging the NES not as a video game console, but as a toy of the future. And they did this by creating a bundle that came with a controllable robot, a light gun zapper accessory, and 2 video games that would show off the complete mileage of the system. And for the price of $139.99, you can purchase this NES bundle for your very own. And in this first game, Gyromite, well, it would help show off the capabilities of Rob the Robot as you played as Professor Hector, sleepwalking through the level while your companion robot buddy here helps remove any pipe blocking your path. In the other game of Duck Hunt, well, this would highlight the light gun as you blasted any ducks flying into your line of fire. And fire! 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 Oh, that damn dog! Remember what happened last time, buddy? Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this. Ah, memories. Now, once this NES bundle was released, it successfully broke through the stink of what the video game crash left behind and breathed new life back into this genre. And with it came a full library of 17 other games that you could purchase at the console's launch, all ranging from $20 to $30 each. With such a wide variety of video games, Nintendo had you covered with whatever game tended to feast your fancy. And since the assortment of these games were all over the place, the most iconic of these had to be Super Mario Bros. Throw this game up to any other video game released for the Atari at the time, and there was no contest. Super Mario Bros. Went above and beyond the normal expectations of everything on the market that was released by 1985. Because at the time, these graphics were simply state-of-the-art. The game didn't just limit you to one static screen like Pac-Man and other arcade classics did, but instead, you're given full stages and levels to advance through in order to beat it. And this single-handedly brought game's replayability to a whole other level, jumping on enemies to kill them, finding bonus items within random bricks, random pipes you could drop down into and explore, and hell, the first time I found that warp zone area, let's just say I had to grab a fresh pair of underwear because I literally flipped my shit right then and there. And it was these kind of Easter eggs that just didn't exist in video games at this point. And after this game was released, it spawned a whole revolution in the way games were made in the following decade. Super Mario Bros. Became so popular, Nintendo even included it in a brand new bundle the following year for the holiday season. Now, unfortunately, out of all these launch titles here, there was only one game besides Gyromite that would work with Rob the Robot, and that was a game called Stack Up. And if you're looking for a really fun game to play with this one, well, it just didn't happen because this game wasn't as fun as Gyromite because it involved a lot of repetition, and some of the games, well, you just had to wait for the robot to respond to, and sometimes this could take a while. But thankfully for the light gun, well, the options were a little bit more plentiful. And first up with the game of Hogan's Alley, we are given 3 game modes to choose from. The first one here is a simple target practice game where you have targets scrolling in and you have to use your light gun to blast away any gang members. Ha! Huh! Blast his ass! That's what I'm talking about. Shoot any good guy though, and it'll count against you. Ah, damn it! What the hell? Ah, fuck you! Now when you start this game, they'll give you a few seconds to think about who to target and blast away. But by stage 30, well, you better know what the hell you're doing because the response time is quicker than diarrhea can slide into a milkshake. Oh, come on, I didn't even have time to... Oh, what? Oh, you fucking sucky piece of... Oh, man. I know how that feels. Now, in the second game here, well, we upgrade our target practice to having these spinner cutouts dropping in on the city scene here. And of course, things get really damn tricky and suspenseful as you try not firing on normal citizens. Ah, damn, you almost got me. I guess all that's left to do now is to shoot these cans here and keep them from reaching the bottom. Oh, for God's sake, what else you got? Alright, let's try the second title here, which is Wild Gunman. And this is a game that puts you right smack in the middle of a shooting duel against any bad guy that comes moseying onto the screen. Draw! Take that, you filthy varmint! Now back in the day, I gotta say these light gun games were the absolute funk, just overflowing with fun, because it was just a great new concept for us kids to have fun with. And of course with this game, I just gotta say it, the music and sound effects were always two things I always enjoyed about this one. And especially with all the different character sprites coming to challenge you. Oh man, just look at these crazy cast of banditos. Now the question remains, just which one of these ragtag band of gringos considered that Wild Gunman? I'm not sure, but with all this blasting going on, it's just pretty refreshing that there's no random citizens to pop up in this game and screw up your track record. Oh, is this the Wild West? How'd I get here? What's going on? Ronnie? Oh, I wonder if I can find one of those stores that sells those big giant foam cowboy hats. Ronnie, get the hell out of my game. Oh man, I need to find that store. Now as for these other launch titles, well, if you wanted sports games, boy did Nintendo have you covered. Because if you want football, well here, try 10-Yard Fight on for size. Ported from the arcade game of the same name, this primitive pigskin fight was the best game around that could give you your NFL fix. And man, I remember playing the crap out of this game back then. Now we're a lot of years before Madden ever laid his greasy Cheeto-covered mitts on this football game franchise. So of course we're stuck in the good old days of just passing and running video game sprites. And once trying to tackle someone, what the hell kind of a wonky sound is that? Somehow I don't remember this sound being too annoying back in the day, but in hindsight, I've been playing this game for 5 minutes and I've already got tinnitus. Alright, well anyway, you can't have football without some baseball, so now we're serving up some baseball! And nope, no fancy wordplay here, it's just baseball. Can't get more generic than that. Especially when the game only gives you 6 teams to choose from. Wow, talk about a bare bones game. But interestingly enough, this game was actually developed by the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto. And it's funny because he actually stated one time that the only reason he made this game was because he felt that the NES needed baseball. Now even though this game is simplistic in design, it can still be very challenging to beat. What? I struck out? Aw, son of a bitch! Alright, so let's switch gears up here to Soccor. Wow, now we've got 7 teams to choose from? Well, up yours, baseball! And at the time, well, this game was touted as the best version of Soccor around, and that's even despite the fact that every time I score a goal, it looks like the players are about to, take off on me. Now, I've never been a big fan of this sport. However, I do enjoy this halftime show. Alright! Yep, keep it going, girls. Doing fine. Alright, well, time to slow things down a bit with some golf here. Now, golf was impressively jam-packed with 18 different holes to play through. And at the time, well, no one, including Nintendo, thought it would be possible to pull off a feat like this. But it was legendary Satoru Iwata that proved them wrong and smashed an impressive 18 holes into this launch title. Despite the small amount of memory needed to produce this game, well, it became very addicting to play. And the most alluring part was that the golfers resembled both Mario and Luigi from Super Mario Bros. Okay, maybe they look more like Lou Albano from the Super Mario Super Show, but that aside, seeing Mario appear in 2 launch games back then was really cool because it wasn't really a common thing that happened back then.
Hey, wait a minute. I was in 2 launch titles too.
Oh, shut up, Professor. I can't tell you how many hours I played this game back in the day. This game was a lot of fun, even if that damn wind came along to mess up every one of my damn shots. Talk about an asshole in one. Okay, now it's time for some tennis. Yeah, like we really need another sports game for the system, but what's starting this game? Hey, wait a minute. I know that intro music. That's the same intro music to the game Pro Wrestling, which was also made by Nintendo too. Ugh, those sons of bitches. You mean to tell me they used the intro music to both games? Who approved this decision? Huh, simply incredulous. Well, after hearing that iconic theme song lifted, it's time to get to the game of batting this shit back and forth until, hello, is that Mario yet again? Well, damn, Professor Hector. Looks like another point goes to Mario. Hey, don't be a sore loser. So next up is the game of Kung Fu, which I guess is kind of a sports game? Okay, maybe not, but I used to love this game back then, because you'll be fighting through this dojo of death to get your girlfriend back from the bad guy. And if you want to know more, well, check out the awesome review I did of this game a couple years ago. Okay, so finally we have a game that's not a sports game, and that is Clu Clu Land. What the hell's a Clu Clu? Oh, I think it's that little bubbly thingamabob here. Well, eat your heart out, Pac-Man, because this little balloon Clu Clu is after your day job. Because he'll be speeding around the screen, flipping around these Legend of Zelda rupees to try and trap enemies with, or attack enemies with. Oh man, this is getting confusing. Well, while it's not as fun as Pac-Man, it's equally not as memorable either. Because this gameplay is a bit on the confusing side, so I guess gamers kind of toss this one away. Especially when you have this butthole-looking thing in the middle of the screen where enemies keep popping out of. Well, figure out how to beat this level, and the sides of the screen will start to flicker, causing a Pokemon Porygon episode-sized seizure to occur.
Porygon!
Alright, here we have Ice Climber next, and this is probably one of the hardest games in the launch games lineup. And since these characters appear in Super Smash Bros., well, I'm sure this game has seen a whole new generation of fans. But the basic concept here is to scale your way up 32 levels per stage until reaching the top. Along the way, you'll encounter birds, yetis, and bears in Speedos wearing sunglasses. Boy, you could tell this game was made in the 1980s with this kind of shit running around in it. The thing that really sets this game apart is the jumping mechanic. Once progressing upward, well, the bottom ledge will disappear, leaving you wide open to drop down to your death. This feature has polarized NES fans into either hating or loving this mechanic. You dick waffle covered in dripping diarrhea! I hate this game!
Oh, chill out. It's not that bad.
Alright, I guess it isn't that horrible. Bonus levels. My god, this will make you want to blow that hole right out of your ass! Well, let's move on to the game of Pinball, which, well, they did try to spruce up this gameplay a bit with adding penguins and little duckies here. Aww. But you'll also get a bonus game here featuring Mario and Pauline from Donkey Kong? Huh, well that's now 4 games we've got featuring Mario. Up yours, Professor!
No!
So after checking out all 16 of these launch titles, we come to the final one, which is Wrecking Crew. And this game brings our total of Mario games up to 5 because it features our favorite plumber. Now oddly enough, this game was a fun sleeper hit of its time because this puzzle game makes you break doors and explode bombs in the correct order so that you can beat this level. And if you mess that up, you can't beat the level and you are fucked, sir. Oh, and don't think you're getting by without having some weird-ass monsters to chase you down. Because if we check out the instruction book here, well, they're called Eggplant Men and Gotcha Wrenches. Gotcha Wrenches? They couldn't come up with a better name than Gotcha Wrenches? Whatever. Now, even though this is a fun game, it turns out that they actually made 2 sequels to this one, which never made it onto a US gaming console. Oh man, it's like a gotcha wrench right up the ass. Alright, so there you have it. 17 launch games and 1 review. Oh man, we're on the other side of that one. And like I said, Mario had 5 games where Professor Hector had 2, so sorry Professor, but you're just a washed up has-been. Ah!
I got the last laugh now.